事，就留吧。我们等了他不来，是自己
就晚点再吃饭。
反正
他可能在吃饭，可能吃完饭就来吧。结果正好是他们是开会的时间吧。陈哥可以开始了呀。等谁呀？现在？现在不等院长呀，我们要开始呀。开始呀。
为什么？
啊。他们录的，还没开始是吧？开始了呀。开始了。
Okay, it's time for our third speaker in the afternoon, Mr. James Gosling, advisor of TypeSafe Inc. James Gosling is actually a speaker who needs no introduction, since he's best known as the father of Java programming language. James Gosling received a Bachelor of Science from the University of Calgary and his Master's and PhD from Carnegie Mellon University. The title of his speech is Can Machine Learning Eliminate Bias? Okay, let's welcome James Gosling.
Good afternoon. Well, thank you for all the public speeches. My speech might answer some of the questions that are still confusing you, I hope. Speaking of AI, what is AI? AI gives the impression that machines can think like humans and can perform the tasks requiring human intelligence. For example, human face recognition. But today, I want to be more specific. I want to talk about machine learning, which is a very important subset of AI. First of all, I will tell you a story. It's about my friend who has developed a system to predict the likelihood of postpartum depression, the depression women will have after giving birth from the social media data. The results are impressive because her system can predict the likelihood of depression months before the onset of any symptoms. Months before, no symptoms, there's prediction. Well, she wants to use it for early stage prevention. That's great. Nowadays, computer scientists are building platforms that can control what a billion people see every day. They're building cars that can decide who to run over. They're building machines and weapons that kill human beings in wars. It's ethics all the way down. Machine learning is here. We're now using computation to make all sorts of decisions, new decisions. We are asking questions to computation that have no single right answers. Here we go. They are subjective, open-ended, and validated. We're asking questions like, who should the company hire? Which news item should be recommended to people? We have no benchmarks for such decisions in such complex human affairs. Well, since we make things more complicated, our software is getting more powerful, but less transparent and more complex. In past decades, complex algorithms have made great strides. They can do a lot of things. They can recognize human faces, decipher handwriting, detect credit card fraud, block spam, translation, detect tumors, beat human in chess and ghosts, just like the other. And it could be more. Well, I noticed that many of you presenting here today are translators and interpreters, right? Here's referred to the former questions that whether this job will be eliminated by the computer development. So have a look at these pictures. Well, these pictures shows that Google translation may be a major threat to your career because the shift from the PBMT, the phrase-based machine translation, to the GNMT, the machine translation has made the translation as natural as that of human translation. And much of this progress comes from a method called machine learning, an idea I've mentioned before, but I would like to reiterate. Machine learning is different from the traditional computation. It's different from the programming, where you just give the computer data, give the computer detailed, exact instructions. Instead, you give the computer a lot of data and let it learn by itself. So the systems does not produce a simple answer. They will answer like this. This one is probably what you are looking for. Probably. No exact answer. It is really powerful, but we don't really understand what our systems learn. This is less like giving instruction to a computer. It's more like training a puppy machine creature. Right, just like this, puppy machine creature. Currently, computational system can infer all sorts of things to you, your disclosed information. They can infer sexual orientation, personality traits, political leanings, and many undisclosed information. It's about privacy. Okay, let's go back to the story. Do you still remember the system that I mentioned by my friends who can predict the likelihood of the depression? Think about it. If it is used in a hiring algorithm, what if the system is weighing out people with the higher future likelihood of depression, but they're not depressed now, just maybe in the future? What if the computer is weighing out women, they are likely to get pregnant, but aren't now? Well, it's machine learning. So there will be no labor saying higher risk of depression, higher likelihood of pregnancy. We don't know what our system is selecting on, and we have no idea where to begin to look. It's a black box. So, okay, such a system could lead to a shutting off the job market of people with higher risk of depression. Is this kind of society that we want to build? That without even knowing we have done this because we just turn decision making totally to our computer that we don't understand? Another problem is this. Systems are often trained on the data that's generated by our own actions. Well, they could just be reflecting and picking up on our own biases. Sexism, racism, and other forms of discriminations are built into the computational systems, because the data that is fed into the system can be prejudiced in the first place, even if not intentionally so. In many machine learning systems, an AI learns just like a baby learns, by imitating and observing. The machine magnifies the problem and showing them back to us, but we're still telling ourselves that we're just doing objective and neutral computation. Researchers found that on Google, women are less likely to be shown as jobs that of high-paying jobs. Such hidden biases could have life-changing consequences. Take a look at this girl. This girl, she was late for school. She stole a bike. She was arrested. She was wrong. She was foolish. But she was just 18. She had several juvenile misdemeanors. While this man, she was arrested because of the shoplifting, and he had 2 armed robbery convictions. However, our computer rated her as more dangerous, 8 against 3. See that? 2 years later, this girl did not reoffend, but she just could not find a job because of the record. He, on the other hand, did reoffend and was now in jail. See, we need to audit our black boxes and have them, and cannot have them have this kind of unchecked power. While audits are great and important, but they don't solve all our problems. I can take Facebook as an example. In August of 2014, a protest broke out in Missouri, America, because a young African American was killed by a white police officer. And this news was everywhere over my Twitter feed, but nowhere around on my Facebook. Why is that? Because the Facebook algorithm wasn't showing that to us because it's not likable. Who's going to click like on this kind of news, let alone make comments on it? Without likes and comments, the algorithm will show this news to less people. But instead, we see this. We saw this that year. It's about the Ice Bucket Challenge, which is to donate money to the cure of ALS. It's very good, and it's very algorithm friendly because people like this kind of news. So machine made decisions for us. Now finally, these systems can also be wrong foolishly. Okay, this again, the third time we see this Watson. You remember this? The IBM's machine intelligence, which wiped the floor with human in the contest on TV show. It was great later, but in one episode, Watson was asked a question about an American city. The answer should be Chicago. The two people answered right, but Watson answered Toronto. Toronto in American city category? Well, this impressive system also made such an error that a human would never make, that a second grader, the 2 years students wouldn't make. Our machine intelligence can fail in ways that we won't expect. Yes, the machine made a tiny error and it's funny, but I would not like to think about what an error means in the context of the autonomous lethal weapons. So yes, the human always make mistakes and have biases, but that's exactly what I want to talk about. We shouldn't escape our responsibilities and outsource them to machines. Well, I'm glad to see that 5 tech giants are working together to establish a standard of ethics around the creation of AI. We'll have a video here, so let's have a look at this video.
What's 5 leading tech giants? What's 5 leading tech giants are trying to create a standard of ethics around artificial intelligence. According to the New York Times, researchers from Google's parent company Alphabet, Amazon, Facebook, IBM, and Microsoft have been meeting to discuss issues like the impact of AI on jobs, transportation, and even warfare. These discussions are taking place after the field of AI has made rapid progress in a range of areas, from driverless cars and voice recognition to robots and weapon systems that could pose a threat to people's jobs and even their very existence. The specifics of what the 5 companies will decide or do are not yet known, but according to the New York Times, they have shared a memorandum and plan to announce a new organization, a so-called AI industry group, in 2 weeks. And their basic goal? To make sure that the focus of AI research is on benefiting people, not hurting them. One of the concerns among AI researchers has been the government making AI regulations. The general manager for IBM's Watson Artificial Intelligence Division, David Kenny, said in an interview with the New York Times that there is a role for government and we respect that. The challenge is a lot of times policies lag the technologies. The importance of the industry effort can be seen in recent projects by Stanford University and MIT that study the social and economic impact of AI. As artificial intelligence technology advances rapidly, academics and industry researchers are moving fast to link the technological progress closer to socio-economic policy issues. 김혜성, 아니랑 뉴스. Both 5 leading tech giants are
So, the artificial intelligence does not give us a get out of ethics free card. In the opposite, we need to cultivate the algorithm suspicion, scrutiny, investigation, and transparency. We need to accept that bringing math and computation to complex human affairs does not bring objectivity. Machine learning cannot eliminate biases by its own. Yes, we can and we should use computation to help us to make better decisions. But we have to own up to our own responsibility to judgment and use algorithm within that framework, not as a means to outsource our responsibilities. Machine intelligence is here. That means we must hold up every tighter to human values and human ethics. Thank you.
Thank you, James. As we have received a lot of questions today, so we're going to add a Q&A session here. And one thing is that when you speak or when you ask your questions, could you please turn on your microphone and speak a little bit louder, please? And we are also very honored to have the head of our department, Nancy, to be here with us today. Thank you for joining us. And let's proceed to our Q&A session. Yes, please.
Thank you for your speech. I think overall it is a very tricky task to learn the machine to eliminate bias, because we have bias goes like European peoples are taller than Asian people, and for the jobs like nurses, females are better than males, and actually that is what happens. So what the AI system works is they do a lot of data crunching, and processing a lot of data. So I think it is almost impossible for them to strike the balance between crunching data and at the same time not misled by the data. So what do you think they're going to strike the balance? Do the data crunching while does not harbor any bias?
Okay. Well, as I mentioned in my speech, the computer cannot eliminate biases by its own. They need human investigation, scrutiny, and suspicion. We use it as a tool to help us make decisions. It's not let it make decisions and we follow its decision. So it's a two-way progress. Human and intelligence AI, they work together. That is how we just ban biases. We can lean to either side and put 100% to one side.
Thank you, but just like the speakers said this morning, that the computing power, human is like 200 hertz, and the system is more like 20,000 or so. I'm sorry, there's 100 times higher than human's capacity. So the AI system, they do these data crunches with less efforts than we do to correct them. So how can we make sure that the two things goes parallel?
Well, you need a very good system. But we don't have such system, but we could have in the future. As the AI develop, we will certainly have organizations that made the investigation system and have a very good system to control. I think you will see the future.
Okay.
Thank you. Next question, please.
喂，你好，我是埃塞克斯大学计算机的博士，我主修的也是人工智能方向。我有一个非常专业的问题要请教你，关于你刚才所描述的地方，我有2个想问的地方。首先是关于你所说的，就是数据上的问题，就是说你所说的数据中一旦出现问题，那么计算机在学习的时候如何避免它？我想请问一下，就是以现阶段的目前的技术来说，有没有一种可能，我们可以让计算机来自动的去处理这些数据？这些数据中包含一些不正确的数据和正确数据，我们怎么能区分它？
Well, it's hard to let the computer to crunch the data alone. Currently, I have to say you can't do that right now. Well, but you mentioned that we use wrong data and the computer will have wrong decisions. So we need to audit the data from every process, from the input, the processing to output. Every section, every single point, we need to check the information. So humans have to do a large part of the job in it, have a great role in it. We can't just say AI is coming, humans resting, no. So in the future, we still have new ways to develop our own responsibilities in this field.
谢谢。还有个问题就是关于你所说的一些方法的问题，就是我想给大家先科普一下两点。第一点呢，就是在 AI 领域，我们通常对于机器的训练有一种叫做监督，有一种叫非监督。所谓的非监督就是让机器自己进行处理数据，而监督是以人为帮助来处理数据。那么在这两种方法是用到今天来说呢，监督学习的成功案例比较多，但是产生的问题也比较多。目前像阿尔法 Go 这样的是属于非监督学习的实例，我们现在正在研究当中。那么你认为这种非监督实习在未来的发展中间，会比监督学习所创造出的成果更多呢，还是说它带有更高的风险性？具体来说是这样子的，像现在我们用到的语音识别或者是一些自动驾驶，我们大部分是基于监督学习为条件的。然而在于非监督学习的话，仍然有很多不确定的因素。但是从 AlphaGo 的结果中，我们知道了，就是它有很高的可